Airbus and Boeing are not entirely out of the woods just yet, but worse still, it can apply to many other manufacturers being put in the same category per AerCap, the world's largest aircraft lessor. Aircraft deliveries are becoming quite the problem, something ushered by a source also of this publication. However, per AerCap, transparency regarding the situation is actually becoming the bigger issue in between all of this. The chief executive of the aircraft leasing company, while speaking at the Airline Economics Conference in Dublin, highlighted how the delivery problem impacting manufacturers would likely last all year. And it should be the role of those plane makers to make clear the ongoing situation, which he says they haven't been doing, and is therefore impacting customers right around the globe. So what are they not being transparent about precisely? Well, it's overpromising and therefore under-delivering on these promises because of the constraints they feel, and they're not communicating this to the customer with enough time. While the constraints are far from ideal on the plane makers, the more significant problem is that transparency. As a result, quotes from Reuters are of heightened interest and focus, with the chief executive explaining that OEMs, or original equipment manufacturers today, have a short-dated nature of how they notify airlines of delays, which is not ideal for the customers plotting their aircraft plans that are reliant on these new units coming in. Airlines plan for the delivery of an aircraft years in advance, and it could purely be down to scheduling, but also there are a host of other reasons that even I couldn't name. Let's use fleet retirement though as an example. Say they're exploring the addition of a new aircraft. Well, they may want to retire an old one that's underperforming and is no longer as efficient. If all plans for a delivery of a particular type at a certain point fall through, the implications are enormous because they need to keep that older aircraft on longer than they had initially intended. Without a good line of communications, airlines can be thrown into real trouble, and off the back of a global pandemic and of course labor shortages, it's something that they want to avoid. AerCap has hugely invested in Airbus. However, at the conference, he didn't shy away from making comments about the European plane maker specifically, and how they may have sold jets on optimism rather than what is logically achievable for them. This is a problem that will set the manufacturer up to not meet deadlines and leaving customers not all that pleased with them. Airbus and Boeing have, yes, openly expressed their understanding of concerns with supply chains that impact their business and have, according to what we've seen, been actively working on solving these. Not focusing on communication with critical customers is not necessarily a good look, and this has provided us an inside look into that from AerCap, one of the most critical companies ordering aircraft on a consistent basis. Even though, yes, they aren't an airline, they do play a fundamental role, so to get an insight from them is incredibly valuable, it must be said. Now, what are your thoughts on the whole delivery situation ongoing at the two biggest manufacturers globally, Airbus and Boeing? Of course, problems in their own right, but it seems to be, according to AerCap, that communication is the biggest issue of it all. You can let me know down below in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Do take care and be safe, and I will see you next time.